These Ordinals tools will give you a massive competitive advantage versus everyone in the space. They have already made me a ton of money, plus they're all completely free. I'm super excited about this video, so let's just jump into it and let me show you what are the tools and how to actually use them properly. The first tool I want to show you is charting tool for JPEGs, and that's just only one part of it. It's completely free. I'm going to leave the link down in the description. The website is called BTC.FRL. You need a referral code, which is zlatcrypto. I'm gonna leave it down below. This gives you at least a couple of months of free usage. For now, the tool is completely free. I cannot guarantee you that forever it will be free because it's that good. And before we get into the charts, let me just show you some of the overall interface and the things that you can be using in here. Here on the site, you can search pretty much on every collection on Magic Eden. It doesn't matter how much volume it has. This is sorted usually by volume, but if you want to search, for example, for Nullish, which is not showing, then you can jump on the chart and you see the full price history here. And then on the next tab, you have price alerts. These are very useful because you can connect it to your Telegram, and it will tell you actually when collection reaches your target price. So it might be for a sale, it might be for a buy. It works perfectly and it works on the phone. And I've used this before, as you can see here. I've had a couple of alerts. And it's a really useful tool. The Pump Hunter is something also very interesting. It can tell you when a collection is pumping. So when there's more volume, there are more sales or more listings, you know, stuff like this. And you can set all the parameters here. And again, you will receive notifications telling you what's happening. And the other one that I'm personally not using, but it's quite good, is also the wallet tracker. So you can add all your wallets here and you can see the portfolio size and what you have and so on. I don't need this personally, but I think for newer people will be quite useful. And when it comes to the chart, this is a full-blown trading view chart for JPEGs. It's really something very important because currently Magic Eden doesn't support this. They have just some lines of the sales and they're not full history, and so it's kind of tricky to do any kind of chart analysis. And trust me, if you know any technical analysis, this could give you an extreme edge over the competition. In this case, this is Node Monkeys, the most hyped collection pretty much in the past months, and you can see what happened with it after the initial launched. It just pumped out of the gate. It had a small correction, so for example this could have been a good trade, then a second leg up, and now we're starting to see weakness and potentially, you know, not getting too detailed in the analysis, but for example this level here will be key for the specific collection. The way I personally use it is, since I'm not an active trader, you can use this obviously to trade actively, but I'm not an active trader. But for the collections that I really like, for example bitmaps, and if I go to the one-day chart, which is more useful for older collections, you'll see pretty much the full chart history here. And you can mark out levels for potential entries, like for example, right in this area. And not many people know about this tool, but as you can see, it worked perfectly. Like when price reached this key level here where there was previous support, price really hard bounced from it and it was up like 80%. And it's up 80%. So very powerful, this one. And also, if it's confusing for you to look at the BTC price, you can go here and just go into the USD chart for the same project that you're looking. And also the coolest thing is that this thing calculates the actual dollar value of the corresponding Bitcoin price at that time. So this is September 30th or so, and the price of Bitcoin was something around 35 bucks, for example, 35,000 bucks. And you can see here that the equivalent of that for Bitmap was around $10. And as you can see, simply this was a monster trade. I do have some Bitmaps, but I do want to accumulate a lot more. So I'm looking for a price pattern to develop. And the best thing is that the dev, which I know he's a great guy, has added full pretty much chart history. So for the Bitcoin frogs, you can see that right from the beginning, this is from March 2023, so full history, we had very clear pattern. So first accumulation here, then a push, a big push, then a sell-off, then again an accumulation. And the theory here is that potentially after this initial push, the second push actually that we had here, again maybe we'll have some accumulation in this area, which is my buy target for Bitcoin Frogs. And actually, because of this too, I made a bunch of money on Bitcoin Frogs. I was able to sell somewhere here at the top around 46 or 0.46 Bitcoin. I sold a few frogs here, and you can see that now this turned out to be a great move, and this starting to help me do this. And you can do this for all kinds of collection, like for example BitBlocks is one that I own, and I'm monitoring this chart. It's been just dropping around some accumulation, you can see, but if it drops below here, maybe I'll consider taking some profit, or actually cutting it out, because at this point I will be underwater. But for now the chart looks alright, and it might look like this will just move like this for quite a while, which will be great if we see this type of accumulation pattern. So you can see very powerful tool. And also for declining collections, you can see that, for example, if they don't have that much volume, so these here means that they don't really have volume. And I know that the dev will be adding soon BRC20 support, which will be amazing because we also need this. Besides few charts on gates.io, we don't have that many good charts for BRC20. So if he manages to deliver this in this tool, I think it will be really probably one of the most powerful tools in the space. And speaking about powerful tools, I want to show you the second one, which is called Ketchup. It's pretty much a Discord group. So again, I'm going to leave the link down in the description. You can verify, and also if you have some assets like Bitcoin Frogs, Honey Badgers, and Bitcoin Whales, you can verify them with Matricia, and then you will have access to what is a lifesaver for me, because I'm not actively grinding all the discords and I cannot keep up with everything that's going on. And this tool provides summaries of the key points and the key discussions in some of the most important discords. It's not very popular, this one. It's actually quite new. It's been only a few weeks that this project has been out. And we're gonna go through some of the summaries. I want to show you what exactly is showing. But here on the Bitcoin Frogs, there are several chats that you can see, and the Bitcoin Alpha and the other Alpha are pretty much the two most popular and most sought after chats in the entire Ordinals community. So if you have a frog and you can verify here, you can get these summaries, which pretty much look like this. So this is a short summary, and I received this yesterday. So every day I receive these updates. And if you want more details, you can click here and you have a lot more details about the last things that have been discussed in this chat, specifically in the last 24 hours. And in this case, somebody got scammed. People were discussing issues with the Unisat wallet. Some people participated in a contest. Airdrops were discussed, and also upcoming projects, which actually is something that I wanted to dive a little bit deeper, because here it's mentioned Bitman actually token that was minting, and people were on it right in this alpha chat, and this minted very quickly. And you can see that if you've been on top of this, you could have took advantage of that mint. I personally didn't, but I decided not to mint this one because fees were expensive. But you have these summaries, and what makes it very powerful long term, that this is like a newspaper. So it gives you the headlines, tells you what's important for all kinds of communities. So for the Honey Badgers, which also have quite a good community and quite a good alpha chat, so you can go through this one. I don't have a Honey Badger, so I'm not verified for this, but you can go through the other chats and see what people are discussing, and if you see something that's overlapping, this is very good, because this means there's hype, and that's actually how I use the tool. I would also go over the track chats and Cyborg. These are free, so you don't need an NFT even to look at the summaries. And I'll see here what's cooking and what people have been discussing, and NFTs obviously have been the talk of the past few weeks, and this is how I spot patterns. And if you read this long enough for weeks and months on end, for my style of trading, I will see what are the most sought after tokens and projects, and I will start accumulating them. So obviously there will be bias. So obviously Bitcoin Frogs will talk mostly about Bitcoin Frogs, and the track ecosystem will talk about track. But even with within these ecosystems, there are certain tokens that stand out. And for example, one of them is NAT. And definitely I would be accumulating more of that in the future. You can do the same for the track main chat, for the pipe, and for the tap, which are the different protocols on the ecosystem there. And also the sideboard chat. This has the general chat, but again, very similar, and you can see, you know, what people have been talking about. So definitely very, very good tool if you want to save a lot of time. And actually, if you want to be in getting into Ordinals, I think this is great because it kind of not overwhelms you, but it gives you kind of the perspective of what people are discussing, what is important. And then, of course, if you want more details, you can just copy paste some of the key topics here and just find them in chat and see what people are actually talking, what was the discussion. Keep in mind that this is done by an AI, so sometimes there might be some mistakes or something that doesn't make sense. So if you see something like this, don't take this, you know, 100% true, and don't just ape into whatever you see here just because you read it. Do your own research. But yeah, overall, it's pretty good in my opinion. And the last tool that I wanted to show you is actually another Discord, which is pretty new. They launched in the beginning of this year, if I remember correctly. And it's pretty much an alpha group for Ordinals. It's totally free. The way it's divided is into two groups. So you have the barracks, which you know, new joiners coming here, and you know, they have access obviously to the founders. I know the founders of this project. They're very early investors into Ordinals back when, you know, there were no marketplaces, nothing. They were just sending people, and they were sending people randomly Bitcoin for some random collection to mint, one of which was the Ordinals frogs, the Bitcoin frogs, sorry. And also they were you know, doing OTC trades in Excel sheets onto Discord. So they're that early, and they stick around in all the chats and provide good alpha. And actually, if you join and if you provide value, then you can get into the other level, which is called the command center. And this gives you even more information, and even it's a more closed group for people to share alpha. And this chat has been on fire, and pretty much this is the only chat I'm spending a lot of my time in. And they've been on top of everything that's been important in the space, and actually out of the space. There are guys here that do a lot of Sol stuff, so you get alpha on Solana stuff, like even inscriptions or NFTs. There are quite a bunch of whales in here also, and founders of projects. So extremely good community. And keep in mind that all the alpha calls that I haven't even mentioned, they're all free. So if you go to the alpha call here, you'll see that people are just posting a lot of alpha, and most of it is very good in my opinion. And they overlap a lot with the stuff that I like. So for example, NATs, everybody likes NATs in the space. And also that's why I bought some bit blocks, for example, because they've been talking. I like the concept of bit blocks, but this was just another confirmation for me that a lot of people might be interested in this project. And just a piece of alpha here that I want to share with you is a project called DIPE. So this is a token on the TAP protocol, which is in the Track ecosystem, but it's a partnership with the Doge chain inscriptions. So once this starts trading, it's going to be on OTC, so you have to join their Discord and so on. That's pretty degen, so keep this in mind. But those are like the highest returners usually in the space. And this still hasn't launched at the time of recording, so if it does in the future, I think it will do quite well because of the combination of Track and Doge. And there's a lot of other things that are cooking. I know the community will be free. There are chats here helping out with the Taproot Wizards quest number 4. It's great. You know, it's just really good vibes. And also I think all the information here, especially in the alpha calls, we got DeFi, we got technical analysis for the markets and normal crypto, you know. So I think it's great that this is, I cannot even believe that this is actually free. So definitely go check it out. These are the 3 tools. They've already made me really a bunch of money. I've already even won a whitelist spot from here that I think will do well in the future. It's for the cyberpunks from this Debauchery community. So definitely go check every tool that I mentioned. Let me know what you think, and as always, I'm gonna see you in the next one.